Welcome to the SOS Social Online Safety Hour, where we discuss how to protect teens, adults, and seniors from the online dangers, because what you don't know can hurt you. Today we have a very important topic to discuss, so if you have teens or kids that are dealing with cyberbullying or just bullying in general, you may want to take some notes. Today I have the distinct pleasure of having both a good friend and expert in this topic. She's helped many families deal with these very issues. Sara Rector has been in private practice located in the Thousand Oaks area since 1991, helping individuals, couples, and families deal with relationship and communication issues in traditional and creative ways. As a psychotherapist, what techniques do you use to counteract these type of things?
Well, I think what it is it's about education. So when my clients come in, I educate them. If this is the content, maybe this is why they're coming in, but it's an education process of talking about the Internet and the power of the Internet and being careful about what you do, and if you're being bullied, to let other people know, and coming up with strategies. I mean, there's strategies. If someone's coming to me, where are you saying when they're being bullied?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So let's kind of go into example.
Okay.
If they're being bullied, what would a strategy be that you would tell a parent or even the child?
Well, I think the first step is that you tell the person to stop. And it really depends on the age of the child, too. I think that's a key factor. If it's a younger child, the parents need to get involved. I mean, that's really what it's about. And they may need to speak to the other parent. They may need to talk to the school, the administration, and just find out what exactly is going on and what are the policies of the school, and find out how open the parent is to doing something about their child's behavior. And it's interesting because a lot of times you can print out. I know I had a situation with my daughter, and there was a little girl that was sending some, she was bullying, on cyberbullying, and the mother didn't really believe it, and so I was able to print out the information and say, gosh, look, this is exactly what your daughter said. So, that's something that you can utilize if need be. But there are resources. In fact, I had a client just tell me today, I was telling her I was going to be on this radio show, and thank you for inviting me, Katrina.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think this is such an important subject. But I was telling her, she was very excited. She goes, oh, did you just hear about the case in Orange County where they are looking into, or there's legislation where the parents can be fined for their children being cyberbullies?
Can you tell me what you tell your parents or your teens how to counteract the bully, like specific things that if they say, okay, well, what do I do? I mean, he's doing this or he's doing that or she's doing this, she's doing that. What do I do?
So I'm gonna tell you what parents can do, and then I'm going to go into what the parents can do to help and support their kids.
Okay.
So we already mentioned never give out personal information online to educate your kids. Never give out your password. If someone sends a mean or a threatening message, don't respond.
Okay.
Save it or print it out, which we talked about. Show it to an adult. Never open any emails from people that you don't know or from somebody that you know that's a bully. Don't put anything online that you wouldn't want your classmates to see. And what I've told Cassidy is don't put anything on your phone, online, that you wouldn't want to see on the news, the 5 o'clock news. So I think that's a really important key. Don't send anything out when you're angry. That is such a key one. I know I had a situation on Facebook where I like to look at it in the morning and at night, and I was looking at it at night, and here's this friend of mine, and she got angry at her boyfriend, and she did this whole rant and kind of aired all his dirty laundry, and it was like, wow, it was like the National Enquirer, and we all say and do things when we're angry, and I'm sure that she was very, very embarrassed when they kissed and made up. But here it is, it's permanent, it's on Facebook. And it went out to I don't know how many people. So it's really important to really think about it if you're angry, and not post it until you maybe wait 24 hours or talk to someone else about it.
So let me ask you this. I know
Yeah.
you kind of covered a little bit about how some people will either give their password out, or I know some kids where they've actually had their accounts hijacked for one reason or another. What if somebody is sending that information and it looks like it's coming from a trusted friend, but it isn't that person? How do they deal with that? Because as we know, with kids, they're very impressionable. A lot of times they really don't think about that and think, well, my friend wouldn't say that.
Well, I think what they would need to do is check that out and see if, in fact, their friend did send it or if it was someone else. And then that happens a lot. I hear that a lot with the teenagers, that they get messages, and then it's actually coming from someone else that grabbed their phone.
Yeah. And that's one that I know I get from my niece as well when I've talked to her. She's had that issue as well. And that seems to be a rampant issue in itself because they're hijacking these kids' accounts and then they're putting across this information as that person. So it's kind of a real slippery slope there on how you try and deal with that type of issue.
Yeah, so I think it just goes back to communication, just talking to that friend and just saying, hey, did you really say that? Did you really do that? You know, there's situations where people have created fake profiles, you know, then that's like a whole other thing. I'm trying to think of the name of that show, Catfish. It's a whole show based on that, and that's a whole other subject. But, you know, the other thing it's so interesting is that, you know, when it's kind of like driving, people tend to be rude when they're in a car. They're honking their horn, and it's like we have this protection, and we behave in a way that maybe we wouldn't normally behave face to face. And I think that's a really good netiquette, I guess, the etiquette of the internet, to behave as you would face to face, because I think people do a lot of things on texting and Facebook and these other sites that they wouldn't do in person, you know, and it's amazing. So they're acting out in these strange ways. So those are the things I think kids need to know. And then what parents can do is keep the computer in a busy area of your home. You know, keep it in a public area. Set up the emails and the Facebook accounts and so on. Make sure you know their screen names. And I know with my daughter, I'm a friend of hers. That's the parameter of her going on Facebook. Is that I'm a friend of hers, and so I can see what she's doing and what she's saying and monitor that. I think that's really key. And I think as parents, you know, like Facebook, you're not supposed to go on until you're 14, and there's a reason why that's true. So I think as parents, we need to stick by that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So with that, I know we've talked about some of the things and to help, but what type of positive behavior do you suggest for your clients when dealing with the bully or being bullied? Because we talked about the mean stuff, but what type of positive ways that we can affect our kids, not just with the education and the communication, but actual personas and the way they act towards the bully?
Well, I think it's very empowering for kids to block people and to disconnect from people that are bullies and that are toxic for them. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's something that's very empowering for kids and just all people in general to do that.
It's just disconnect.
Yeah. And it's just a conversation about what kind of people do you want to be connected with and do you want to communicate with, and just making some choices, some good choices for each person in their life.
Got it. Can you tell our listeners about your services and how they can get a hold of you?
Sure. I am the director of the Circle of Life Center, which is a family counseling center located in Thousand Oaks. It's right across from the Oaks Mall. And we are a group of 10 therapists that deal with all ages and stages of life. Just a great caring group of very, very talented therapists. And we deal with kids all the way up to senior citizens, and we see individuals and couples and families. And the best way to get a hold of us, well, two ways. The old-fashioned way, phone number, 805-494-1414. Again, that number, 494-1414. And then we're also on the Internet. Our webpage is www.cyberbullying, circleoflifecenter.info. Again, circleoflifecenter.info, because we provide info to the community. So thanks again, Katrina, for the opportunity.
Thank you.